Hey, everybody, welcome to Downballot Roundup in partnership with Leave No Dem Behind, where I introduce you to Democratic candidates running in local elections throughout the country. I'm Bryan Randolph, and today I am here with Aaron Hawkins, who is running for Florida State Senate to represent the 31st District. Hello, Aaron. It is great to have you today. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's nice to be here. Thank you guys for inviting me on.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming. Why don't we start by just telling us a little bit about you?
Well, yeah, I was born and raised here in Stewart on the Treasure Coast. Grew up here my whole life. Went to Jensen Beach High School. Graduated from there in 2016 with my AA. Then went off to college to FSU, where I got a bachelor's in economics, a master's in international affairs. Both of those degrees were focused on economic development. From there, I ended up coming back home in 2020 due to COVID, and I jumped into work and I got a job in real estate. I've got 3 years of experience in real estate as an appraiser and a data manager, as well as professional experience in data science and business and organizational management. I work with several nonprofits here in Stewart and in Martin County. One is focused on the economic vitality of the downtown district, and the other one is focused on historic preservation for the traditional Black communities here. Uh, on top of all of that, I also serve on the Stewart Redevelopment Board, which is an advisory board for the city of Stewart.
Excellent. All right. And can you tell me about District 31, about the area a little bit?
Yeah, well, we're right here, smack dab in the middle of the Treasure Coast. District 31 goes from southwest Port St. Lucie. It covers all of Martin County and then a big piece of North Palm Beach. On the east side, it goes as far down as Palm Beach Gardens. And then on the west side, it goes as far down as Southern Boulevard, down there with Loxahatchee and Royal Palm Beach and Westlake and all those areas. So it's a fairly large Senate district, but we've been hitting the ground running since April, and we've covered quite a bit of ground.
And when you're out there talking to people, what are kind of the biggest issues you're hearing?
Well, I mean, in the state of Florida, by far the biggest issue is affordability. It's our insurance crisis that we're under here, as well as affordable housing is a big issue for a lot of people here. And then following that are issues with the environment and our infrastructure. As people know, Florida has grown quite a bit over the last 50 years, but especially in the last 20 years in terms of population and development. And we are reaching a point where our infrastructure might not be able to keep up with the rate of development that we are going at. So that is a big thing that's on everyone's mind out there. And then just environmental protections, making sure that we're actually preserving our environmental resources here, and making sure that have we're actually providing clean water to people. Is a big topic out there. So those are the main things that I'm hearing from constituents about what their worries are, and that they're also the reasons that I really got into this race because I started off working on affordability issues on a local level here in Martin County. And that's what prompted me into running.
And when you talk about the environmental issues, and I do want to wrap this in with kind of seeing how you guys are doing after Hurricane Milton, but uh, I know that a lot of the development has reduced some of the natural things that would have absorbed a hurricane, a lot of the wetlands and that sort of thing, and development kind of counters that. Uh, are people starting to worry a little bit more than they were in the past about whether the natural protections are being eroded?
Well, I mean, I think people were worried before, but Hurricane Milton was just another reminder of where our priorities need to be. Something that the state of Florida has not invested nearly enough into is stormwater infrastructure. And Hurricane Milton once again showed us that our infrastructure, when it comes to stormwater retention and runoff, is not prepared to handle the increased intensity of these storms. Uh, we need people in our state legislature that are ready to prioritize that instead of putting it off and, getting rid of climate change and all of the state documents. But we are rallying pretty well after Hurricane Milton. Unfortunately, we did have a few people here who lost their lives up in St. Lucie County in the Spanish Lakes area. And my condolences, my heart goes out to those families. We also got hit pretty bad with a hurricane in South Stewart, or sorry, with a tornado in South Stewart. And That community has really rallied together. All of our communities have really rallied together here to try to help those people and rebuild in Port Salerno. So we're doing okay. Last time I read, 95% of the electricity had been restored here in Bryan County. So we're 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 picking up the pieces and we're rebuilding fairly quickly, but uh, people lost their lives, people lost their homes, and it's going to take some time to get back what those people had.
I think that people from outside of Florida tend to associate, especially kind of, well, for me anyway, especially Treasure Coast area, with being very heavily influenced by the sort of culture war issues and I don't know if that's the case particularly in your Senate district or not, but first of all, is it? And second of all, is that shifting at all? Is there any kind of change going on at that level?
I would say that sure that element is here, but it's really the loudest people. The loudest people tend to be the ones that get all the attention. So, those are the people that people from the outside looking in are probably seeing and, associating with the Treasure Coast. But I would say that most people here are worried about all the issues that are on all of our minds. Affordability, top of mind. Insurance, top of mind. The environment, top of mind. Infrastructure, top of mind. Like, we don't, especially with my experience working here on the ground locally, working with people, there really isn't party lines when you stick to the real issues. It's really just being able to sit down and have those conversations with people. And yeah, you'll run into those people here and there that are very focused on the culture war, but I just tell them that, look, I understand how you feel about that situation, but the reality is that's not that important if I'm trying to figure out how to pay rent, you know? Like I always bring it back to the main issues, to what's really important, and that's what's going to get people through the week and through the month, and increase wages and make sure people are taken care of at the end of the day. I really don't run into too much of the culture war problems now.
Can you give me something specific that you and your opponent differ on an issue?
Well, one thing that we definitely differ on for sure is abortion. My opponent is one of the legislators that voted in favor of the 6 week abortion ban here in the state of Florida, and I am a advocate thoroughly for the right to do what you would like to do with your own body, and that goes for everything across the board, including abortion. I think that people know best for themselves, and they should be able to make those type of independent decisions for themselves without the input of a government body or people that have no expertise whatsoever in the medical field. So that's one of the main things that we differ on. But we have, if you go to my website, you'll see there's a ton of things, tons of issues that I care deeply about, and I differ from my opponent on about, I'd say 80% of them.
All right, so we're coming running out of time, but I have my last question. It's my softball question. It's my favorite question. I would like to know what about your district makes it special to you.
um, what makes this special to me is that I'm a homegrown Floridian, home taught Floridian. I was born and raised here in '98. My mom was born here in Stuart in '55. So my family's been in Stuart, Florida for over 100 years. And we've been on the Treasure Coast since about the 1890s. So when I say that this is home for me, I really mean it. And I just want to see us better represented in our state government. It's not about political parties for me. It's about our community interests versus special interests. And that's why I've decided to run in this race. So that's, this little piece of paradise here in Florida holds a special place in my heart. So
Aaron Hawkins is running for Florida State Senate in District 31. Thank you so much for being here, and I really wish you the best of luck.
thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for your time.